She took in a struggling single dad for one night, then discovered he was her new CEO. The rain had turned the city into a blur of silver streaks when she first noticed him standing under the flickering streetlight, clutching a small backpack and holding a sleeping child close to his chest. He looked like someone the world had quietly forgotten, shoulders heavy, shoes soaked through, eyes dulled by exhaustion and pride struggling to survive. She almost walked past him, almost chose the safety of her warm apartment over the risk of caring too much. But something in that moment, maybe the way the child's tiny hand gripped his jacket, maybe the quiet dignity in his posture, made her stop, turn back, and change both of their lives forever. Before the story continues, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of one small decision to change everything, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel for more stories that touch the heart. She was not rich, not powerful, not someone who could afford mistakes. She worked long hours at a mid-sized company, lived paycheck to paycheck, and carried her own invisible scars from a life that had taught her self-reliance the hard way. That night, she had been returning from an exhausting double shift, her mind weighed down by deadlines and bills, when she saw him. He didn't beg. He didn't approach anyone. He simply stood there, trying to shield his child from the rain with his own body. Against every warning voice in her head, she offered him a place to rest, just for one night. One night, she told herself, because no one should have to choose between pride and survival. Her apartment was small, barely enough for herself, but she laid out clean blankets, made instant soup, and watched as the child finally slept peacefully, free from the cold. The man ate slowly, gratefully, as if afraid the moment might disappear if he moved too fast. She noticed the way he carefully cleaned up after himself, the way his eyes constantly checked on his child, the way he spoke about life not with bitterness, but with quiet acceptance. He explained that things had fallen apart faster than he ever imagined, job gone, savings drained by medical bills, family long out of reach. He wasn't asking for pity, he was simply surviving. That night, as she lay awake listening to the storm fade, she wondered how many people like him passed through the city unseen. How many strong people were only one bad season away from losing everything. She didn't know it yet, but that single night would soon force her to question everything she thought she understood about power, success, and judgment. Morning arrived with pale sunlight and the awkwardness of strangers who had shared something deeply human. He thanked her sincerely, promised to find work, and left with his child before the day fully woke. She watched them disappear down the street, feeling both relief and an unexpected ache, like a chapter had closed before she knew it mattered. Life resumed its familiar rhythm, crowded buses, office emails, unrecognized effort. She returned to being invisible in a company where leadership felt distant and unreachable. A week later, the office buzzed with tension. Rumors swirled about a new CEO taking over, someone known for strict standards and sudden changes. People whispered about layoffs and restructures, fear traveling faster than facts. She sat at her desk, trying to focus, reminding herself that worry had never paid a bill. When the announcement finally came, the room fell silent. Footsteps echoed toward the conference hall as employees gathered, curiosity and anxiety blending in the air. Then she saw him. Not the rain-soaked man from the streetlight, but a transformed version, standing straighter, dressed simply but confidently, eyes steady and familiar. It took her breath away as realization hit her like a wave. The struggling single dad she had sheltered for one night was the company's new CEO. The room erupted in applause, but she could barely hear it over the pounding of her heart. Confusion, disbelief, and fear collided within her. She replayed every moment from that night, wondering if she had crossed some invisible line, if kindness would now cost her dearly. As he spoke about vision, values, and rebuilding trust from the ground up, his words carried a weight she hadn't expected. He spoke not like someone untouched by hardship, but like someone who had lived it. He talked about seeing people, about understanding that titles didn't define worth, about creating a workplace where empathy and accountability could coexist. At one point, his eyes briefly scanned the room, and when they met hers, there was recognition, not exposure, not embarrassment, just gratitude. In the days that followed, changes came swiftly. Not reckless cuts, but thoughtful reforms. Departments once ignored were given resources. Employees were listened to, not just managed. She noticed how leadership meetings now included questions about workload, mental health, and growth. For the first time, she felt like her effort mattered beyond numbers on a spreadsheet. And quietly, without spectacle, her own role began to change. She was entrusted with responsibilities that matched her potential, not just her job description. One evening, long after most had left, she found herself reflecting on how close she had come to walking past him that night. How easy it would have been to assume his story from his appearance. She realized the world often teaches people to measure worth by success, never considering how temporary success can be, or how invisible struggle often is. The power dynamic she once feared had reversed, but instead of judgment, she found respect. He never publicly mentioned that night. He didn't need to. His leadership carried the proof of who he was. A single father who had lost everything, rebuilt quietly, and never forgot what it felt like to need help. And she, in turn, learned that kindness doesn't require permission, and compassion doesn't weaken strength, it reveals it. Just before the ending, we have a special request for you. Please comment below where you're watching from and share one small act of kindness that changed your life or someone else's. Your story might inspire someone who needs hope today. As the year passed, the company flourished, not just financially but humanly. She grew into a version of herself she had once doubted existed, confident and seen. Sometimes, on her walk home, she passed that same streetlight, now repaired and glowing steadily, and she smiled at how one ordinary night had quietly reshaped so many lives. If this story touched your heart, reminded you of the power of compassion, or made you believe again in second chances, please like this video, share it, and leave a heartfelt comment. Your engagement helps these stories reach others who might be standing in the rain, waiting for someone to stop.